Our society is committed to fighting for numerous movements and ideologies. It's a great thing that we live in an age and time where one can exercise their freedom of speech. However, it's still up to people whether they accept those opinions or not. Take feminism, for example. The wave of feminism started in 1848. There are numerous diverse ideas and points of view within the feminist movement, and not all feminists share the same viewpoints or practices. In the modern world, some critics argue about the ideologies behind the contemporary feminist movement. It's confronted with backlash, and YouTuber Sydney Watson has garnered notoriety for her activities and speeches criticizing radical feminist activity and ideology. A pro-gun, anti-feminist, half-American Donald Trump supporter. That's how a news report described her. Sydney Watson is a graduate of the University of Melbourne with degrees in criminology and journalism. Sydney is taking the YouTube world of woke culture and radical feminism by storm. She gained attention in 2016 after she spoke out about a Facebook page called Hotties of Melbourne University. The page uploads photos of women and people can rate them based on their attractiveness. When a woman made a petition on change.org to delete the page after being disgusted with the degrading comments left in the photos, Sydney hit back saying that she was angry after reading the petition. For Sydney, it was just a bit of fun. The page was flattering and not sexist. The petition, on the other hand, it felt like a thinly veiled attempt to push an agenda, she said. Sydney is fighting back against the toxicity of radical feminism. Radical feminism is a belief system that advocates for the radical reordering of society in order to eliminate the patriarchy and the oppression of women. It emphasizes the reordering of society in which the male aspect is eliminated in all social and economic context. It is not inherently bad, but like any belief system, it can be used to justify harmful actions or ideologies. Sydney has her opinions and beliefs about different issues. Aside from feminism, she is very vocal informing the people about the surge of racism against white people. Most people harshly disagree with it, saying that what she thinks is unconventional and unimportant. It's affected the most personal parts of her life. When she moved to Washington, D.C. and was finding a place and housemates to live with, the posting she uploaded online was bombarded with hate comments. And when she finally found a sublet, she was eventually kicked out for being a conservative. Says a lot about Washington, D.C., doesn't it? Particularly controversial are Watson's allegations that radical feminism encourages injustice against men. She believes that feminism is bad for both men and women. She believes that the feminist movement has turned too politically correct and has grown overly preoccupied with advancing women's interests at the expense of men, preventing a frank and open discussion of the true gender issues. Feminist academics and activists have harshly condemned Watson's views, which they see as being problematic. Some claim that her opinions are dangerous because they can be used to defend against discrimination against women and other oppressed groups, in addition to being factually inaccurate according to her haters. Most of her content is provocative, with titles such as "The Me Too movement has ruined workplaces" and "Hey women, men are not responsible for your safety" and "White privilege is not a thing." In one of her most popular videos that went viral after it was shared in the midst of the case of the Melbourne comedian Eurydice Dixon being sexually assaulted and killed, Watson attacked the notion that men should be the ones to put an end to sexual violence, saying,
"Is stupid. I don't know about you, but I would like the personal responsibility to deal with my own safety. I'm really not interested in putting that onus on men or on anyone else for that matter, because my safety is my responsibility."
In 2018, Sydney hosted the March for Men to make up for the concerns that men are being left behind by feminism. Men for March was an event where participants marched together through the streets of Melbourne to show that men matter. The rally was fueled by the supposed increase in assaults on men, and Sydney maintains that the purpose of the event was not to restrict or disregard women's rights. I want to make it abundantly clear. The purpose of this rally is not to hate on women, to diminish women's rights, or to make any negative statements about women. What we're trying to do is show that we care about the men in our lives and we care about the issues that concern them as well. In a tweet, she added, "I'm not going to apologise for supporting men. I'm not going to apologise for anything I've said about feminism and its veiled misandry. I won't be shamed into backing down, and if anyone wants to go head to head with me, may the odds be ever in your favour." Despite being an outspoken Trump supporter and an outspoken conservative, Watson insists that the march is completely non-partisan and welcomes everyone, regardless of their political views. The event, as expected, was chaotic. There were confiscations of guns and knives, the attendance of anti-protesters, and police taking custody of a few attendees. Around 400 to 600 people attended the event. And to counteract the misinformation and fake news circulating the internet about what actually happened in March for Men, Sydney uploaded a video explaining what really happened that day. In the video, she said that people only wanted to be there for a good cause and nothing more. She also included clips of the anti-protesters and explained what happened to the alleged clashes that news outlets were reporting incorrectly. People say that there's significant issues with what Sydney is doing. It's not the first time that she's angered a lot of people, and it's definitely not stopping anytime soon. While trying to catch up with her family back in Melbourne last year, Sydney got enveloped in controversy. It all started with a tweet. "I'm currently, literally, wedged between two obese people on my flight. This is absolutely not acceptable or okay. If fat people want to be fat, fine, but it is something else entirely when I'm stuck between you with your arm rolls on my body for 3 hours." Sydney further revealed that she offered to swap seats with the brother of one of the obese people she was seated with, but he declined the offer. She continued by emphasizing that if obese individuals want to fly, they must buy 2 seats to avoid inconveniencing other people. The public's opinions about this were mixed. Many online users debated if Sydney was at fault or whether overweight people should be called out for being overweight. In a video she uploaded regarding the issue, she explained that she got so many abusive and hateful comments and messages about the tweet. People were accusing her of fat shaming. To be clear, Sydney already posted a video about her stand on the health at every size topic way before the incident happened.
It's gonna be one of those videos, isn't it? So that's what we're going to talk about today. The fat acceptance movement, body positivity, health at every size. We'll do a bit of history, a bit of TikToks, a bit of sadness.
The airline responded with an email saying she'll receive a $150 trip credit and a tweet simply saying, "Our passengers come in all different sizes and shapes. We're sorry you were uncomfortable on your flight." That annoyed Sydney even more, and she responded by tweeting, "I'd rather take the $150 American Airlines offered me as a refund and give it to someone who needs a PT or a gym membership." In December of 2022, Sydney participated in a Vice debate video between anti-feminists and woke feminists talking about feminism.
Why are they not asking?
Wait, what happens when women ask for a raise? Sorry, I've been wanting to say something, but I want to be respectful.
Vice reached out to her and asked her if she would be willing to participate in a panel. Sydney initially thought it would be a good thing to do, but during filming she realised that it was the most unhelpful conversation she had ever had.
I hadn't, however, worked with Vice before. So when they reached out and they said, "Do you want to participate on this panel?" I genuinely thought, yep, that sounds like it could be cool.
Sydney said,
"Most of the people who were on this panel were not friendly, putting it mildly. And I don't believe that they were there to exchange ideas or have a good faith conversation. And when I say that, I need you guys to understand that we filmed for maybe 4 or 5 hours on the day, maybe even more. I don't know, it's all blended together at this stage. So the 40+ minutes of Vice content that you see now has been distilled from hours of footage. So the majority of what these people had to say was cut, and they still come out at the end looking unbelievably not nice.
In the Vice video, the majority of the comment section was in favour of Sydney and other anti-feminists. People also expressed gratitude to Vice for exposing the insanity that dominates the modern radical feminist movement. As of now, Vice has turned off the comment section. What a surprise. Sydney responded to this with a tweet saying, "I think this might have to do with the fact that one of the panelists is claiming that she's being bullied by me, and I have to assume anyone who is commenting negatively. Coincidentally, the same one who said I'm a privileged white woman who lives in a bubble."
So yeah, of course, it's frustrating.
And in a surprising turn of events, for her video titled "I was on Vice's Insane Feminism Panel," she got an email from YouTube saying that Vice's copyright claimed parts of her video. Controversies, backlash and threats are not new to Sydney. However, in some situations, she makes an effort to put the fire out. Established Titles, one of her video sponsors, was revealed to be a potential scam in November of 2022. According to the ads, buyers may buy a small piece of land in Scotland and, in accordance with a traditional Scottish land ownership practice, would then be permitted to refer to themselves as lords or ladies. In a video revealing the scam, YouTuber Scott Schaefer claims that Established Titles does not truly sell land, instead referring to it as a souvenir plot. As a result, the owner is not legally entitled to the land under Scottish law, and the company cannot grant any legitimate titles. The next day, Sydney said on Twitter that she was ending all sponsorship with the business. And sometimes, even with no intended act of maliciousness, she still gets caught up with issues. From September 2021 to March 2022, Sydney was co-hosting You Are Here with Elijah Schaefer on Blaze TV. Many people have called for Sydney to be replaced because of her attitude on the show, and some have even called for a complete boycott of the program. The channel suffered 2 strikes and was nearly terminated. One of the guests, Jack Murphy, who was a guest in 2021, Sydney read a super chat in which Murphy was questioned about a cuckolding article he had written years earlier in which he described how he had set up a Tinder date to sleep with his wife. After declining to comment on the story, Murphy angrily cursed at Watson live on TV. Given that Murphy positions himself as an alpha male, the outburst gained notoriety and led to the internet mocking him. Jack hurriedly stood up and left the set just as the show came to a close without saying goodbye to the hosts.
You know what? Fuck you.
When the show did end, Jack got up. I made an attempt to apologize or to at least ask what had happened and what had made him react that way. He told me to go fuck myself or He either said go fuck yourself or he said fuck you again, I can't remember which. And then he left.
She uploaded a video clearing up what happened after and explaining that she didn't do it deliberately. Sydney has had some very controversial content that has resulted in different social media sites banning her. In March 2022, she started a Subscribestar account after being banned by Patreon for hate speech. This was baffling as Sydney noted that Patreon has issues managing content on the platform to the point that they laid off staff amid some serious allegations. So what do you think about Sydney fighting back against radical feminism and woke culture? Thanks for watching. I'm James. I create short documentary videos every week. Please like and subscribe for future videos. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.